computer. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the marketing office hour that we're doing with D.O.B. I just want to introduce this concept of what we're trying to do. We'll be doing this session every 6 to 8 weeks with different experts within our industry. Noah and I have both worked in retail fashion for about 20 years, and we've come across some really great and talented people that have since started their own businesses. And we want to leverage them for the community. This kind of came about when we talked to a couple of companies or a couple of brands that we're working with, and they said they've had issues finding somebody in marketing or in a different area that they could trust. And we wanted to make sure that for this community, we're leveraging our experience and the people that we know and we trust and that we're working with, and introduce them to the people that are part of D.O.B. So yes, so we'll be doing this every 6 to 8 weeks. If any of you guys ever have any topics that you are really interested in covering, let us know. But some of the ones that we have on deck are inventory management. So doing things like open buy, understanding weeks of supply, branding. So understanding storytelling. We have a couple of really great people that we work with for branding, content management, social influencer marketing, and the list goes on. We also have a person in our community, Callie NY, who was a former corporate lawyer who's offered also to do an hour on legal. And I know it's not something you think of immediately when you think of starting a business, but it is definitely really critical. And it's also really important when you're starting to go for the funding rounds. You need to have all your documents in order, and he'll have a conversation about that. So I'm going to kick it off to pass it off to Noah. But just one thing is, please keep your questions to the end. And at the end, I'll go around to each brand and ask if they have any questions for Joseph. And we'll leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end to answer any questions. To Noah.
Yeah, and we'll probably have a couple of people coming in as we're in the middle of the session. So we'll just people may be coming in and out as we go. So Joseph, so we Joseph and Growth Lab, we were introduced to Joseph through founder of Growth Lab through someone closely in our we work with closely in our network, and who we respect and work with directly. He introduced us, and so I remember our first call with Joseph, and Joseph had this, I mean, you'll see for yourself, but amazingly smart guy, just gets a lot done very quickly, fast mover, agile, all the things you want to see in a kind of new age marketer with the digital tilt. But more than that, Joseph has this amazing personal narrative and story about helping his family's business grow. And D.O.B. is all about people helping people. And so we like to do business with people that are super smart, super capable, but also just good human beings. And Joseph checks all those boxes fully. And we were impressed with Joseph and his story. And we actually tried, I think, 3 times to pay Joseph to do marketing for us in the last few months. And each time, I think I got more aggressive about paying him, and Joseph got more aggressive about not taking our money. And because at the end of the day, like Joseph said, like I need to show value, and it's got to be pretty immediate value. And so there are things that you guys have to do first before you do paid marketing. And like Wes and I were like, well, what do we have to do to get Joseph to take our money? But I mean, kidding aside, like that really impressed us. How many digital marketers out there could you meet that wouldn't just immediately take your money, right? Even if they can't drive the value. And I think Joseph comes at it from a very different angle, which we greatly respect. And those are the kind of partners that we want to have as part of D.O.B. And those are the kind of partners that we want to introduce to our brand partners. So, Joseph.
Thanks for the intro. That was epic, and I had to live up to it. So thanks for that, Noah. But I really do appreciate for both of you guys, first and foremost, for kind of putting this whole entire thing together. Um, it was just right from the start, like you guys are just awesome to work with, and that's my favorite people to work with. Is just like if it's like I don't want to work with anyone that's like it's not fun with, and so that's how I feel like business should be. It should be fun. Like I think like sometimes I forget all the time, and we all forget like it gets really stressful sometimes, and it's like wait, what am I doing all this? Like, why am I suffering so much for this? But it's good to be around people like Wes and Noah to just like remind us like this can be fun and it should be fun, and that we all can like grow and thrive together if we're all on the same mission of just like helping other people. And that's why I really love associating with them, and just working with them and collaborating with them is just because it's so much fun. They really have a pure intention, really great hearts, and just want to give everything they possibly can back to the community with all the experience and knowledge that they've acquired throughout the years. So um, with that, I'll definitely get started with just going right into it. And I've prepared like a little presentation to just kind of outline a few of the things I've learned throughout my journey here of being in digital marketing for 3-4 years now. And I'll just dive into my story really, because that's kind of where it all started. So I mean, this presentation here is kind of for um, it's setting the foundations to scale your brand and impact, most importantly, right? Because at the end of the day, you kind of need money to scale your impact. It's really hard to do it without money. Um, I know as like kind of like conscious brands and conscious creators, it's money can kind of be on the back burner, but as we dive deeper into it, we kind of need that money to be able to scale the impact. And so it's becoming ever more important to make sure that we're growing sustainably to be able to constantly be able to fund that growth and fund that impact. And so just a little bit about me and how I got into my start, my journey here. So like Noah was talking about, I kind of had my intro into marketing because about 4 years ago, I was kind of on the verge of like, what do I do? I was still in college. Like my parents, basically, just to go all the way back to like the '08 crash. My parents went into debt like about over $1 million in debt in the '08 crash. My dad and parents kind of made like it was unfortunate, but like kind of bad decision. Um, Kind of like some bad decisions, but then like also the market fell and all that stuff. So it kind of fell out from under them. So $1 million in debt, and basically I just saw them have to like suffer throughout pretty much like a decade plus, and not making much money, barely making ends meet, not having any money in retirement funds or savings or anything like that. And I just knew that they were pretty much going to die in debt if I didn't do anything like substantial, drastic like now. And so at that point, I knew I kind of had to help them in some way, shape, or form. My mom owned a bridal business, and so I kind of went all in for it and learned as much as I can about marketing to help her grow her store to hopefully make back enough money to pay off the debt. So I learned a couple of things about digital marketing, how to run paid ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, and those types of modalities of marketing, and was able to grow her store from about like 500,000 a year to over 1 million a year now. And that was within like about a year's span. And so with that, it was just like a crazy epiphany that I was like, this actually works. Like this is crazy. Um, like I was just so surprised that I could like throw up an ad and then people would see it and then they would come to the store, and it was able to increase the revenue because of it. And so like just after all of experiencing all of that, like it didn't stop there. And so my family friends started asking for help. My mom actually opened up a second store, and now that went from like 10 to 15K a month all the way up to like 80K a month. And so like literally now she just told me like the other week, like within about a year or two, she's going to be able to pay off all of her debt, like completely within that time frame. And so, which is crazy because she thought she was going to die with it. And that was just because um, like we were able to grow her business just through digital marketing. And so I was just really, really blessed and thankful to have that experience and to be able to learn all of that to be able to help her, because I mean she deserves it like more than anyone else, because she's the most generous, loving, like kind, compassionate person. And so that's just what they deserve. They didn't escape Vietnam like by boat to just come over here and suffer for the next like 5, 6, 7 decades. So I believe that everyone does have uh, the opportunity and the chance to be able to like live the life that they deserve and dream of. And it just takes putting together the proper foundations, which I wish more people shared, but unfortunately they don't. And so that's what I'm going to try to do here is like share those foundations that allowed My mom started to scale. I scaled a lot of different businesses from like restaurants, hair salons, um, like, I mean, like 8-figure restaurants and um, like 8-figure local companies, like solar companies and things like that. So like we've been able to drive so many sales and help them experience like some massive growth. And so I just wanted to be able to share some of that with you guys today. Um, and yeah, hopefully you guys can apply a few things, and it's just like taking small steps at a time. It can seem kind of overwhelming, but I'll try my best to like kind of like break it down to like the basic building blocks and then kind of tackle it one by one. And so that's pretty much my story. And I'll kind of go right into the first, I would say, like, principle of marketing that a lot of people I see get wrong in terms of like starting an e-commerce brand. And so the first thing that I noticed, and this is one of the analogies that I kind of told Wes and Noah in the beginning, and which is why I like told them no and did not take their money, was because when starting an e-commerce store and before running any paid ads, we have to have the proper foundations or the roots. And so here's like a tree, right? So I think of marketing as kind of like fertilizer. Like it's not the tree, it's not the fruits, it's not the branches, it's not the roots. Marketing is purely just a fertilizer, which allows a company to grow, like just faster. But in order for like the fertilizer to work, you have to have a tree, you have to have roots, and you have to, most importantly, have good soil. And so a lot of times, e-commerce brands will not have the proper roots, soil, and foundation to be able to put the fertilizer on to make it grow, which is why you see a lot of brands um, just spend thousands, if not tens of thousands, on paid marketing and see like zero return. And it's because these proper foundations aren't in place. And so, for example, the roots is like the product, right? Like you have to have a good product. You have to have product market fit. You have to prove that people want it and that people are wanting to buy it, and not just wanting it, but actually do purchase it. And so the trunk is kind of like the website of your brand where they can go and purchase the thing. And I would say the fruits are sales, right? So if you have the proper roots, soil, trunk, foundations, you should be bearing fruit. Um, and that's kind of how I like to think about it. Marketing pretty much only amplifies what's already working. So if something is not working already, if you're not generating sales already at a consistent, predictable pace every single month, then marketing will not really help that much. It might actually hurt, and hurt in the sense of like wasting a lot of time and money that could have otherwise be spent elsewhere. And so this is how I kind of think of marketing. Make sure you have the proper foundations first. And I'll kind of run through those foundations in a little bit more detail here. Oh yeah, just so I'm conscious on time, do you guys know how much time we kind of want to spend on
I would
this?
probably say probably 20, it's like total 30 minutes more, I'd say 35
Okay.
minutes, and then open up for maybe 10 minutes of questions.
Questions? Cool. So I'll try to run through this pretty briefly and then kind of go into more detail as we go along. Uh, you're probably going to get, most people are probably going to get the most value out of the questions at the very end, just because the advice is just more specific and tailored to their specific situation. So I'll lay the groundwork and then we can just dive in deeper, which is where most of the value will be extracted. So kind of the foundations that I've seen so far working with dozens of e-commerce brands, there are like 4 core pillars that I want to talk about and for you to kind of get right, and then we can kind of like discuss paid advertising. And so the first is like research is like by far the most important thing, which very few people do. Um, like the best form of marketing comes from the best research, which people don't really think about. It's really funny. So when thinking about that, like research leads to like product market fit, because without talking to your customers, without knowing what they want, what they desire, what they dream of, like and what their problems are, there's no way to kind of create a product that actually solve that thing. And if you have a product already, which most people do, research only helps and doesn't hurt. And so you can constantly tailor your product to be able to serve your customers better, which allows you to charge higher prices, provide higher value, and things like that. And so that's the first core pillar. The next one is website and product page. You have to have a really like beautiful, like high converting product page and website. If that's not the case, it becomes extremely difficult to be able to drive any sort of traffic to your website. And so if your website's converting like a 1% or less than 1%, it's going to be very hard to be able to make a profitable business out of that unless you have a really high end product. I'm talking about like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But having a really high converting product page is going to help tremendously in terms of your marketing efforts, uh, because it's just going to multiply what you do without spending any more money. And so organic marketing is the next pillar, and then which is things like um, posting organically on your Instagram, all your social channels, as well as influencer marketing, which can technically be organic marketing if you're not really paying for it just yet, so, such as things like gifting and seeding. And then paid advertising is kind of like the last pillar that you want to look at after you've kind of solidified and mastered these first three pillars. And so that's what I would call the foundations of marketing. So the first pillar is research and product market fit. So does your product have product market fit? Most people would say yes, but then struggle a lot with sales. And so if that's the case, the easiest way to know if you do have product market fit is if people are happily buying your product, like actually giving you cash, swiping their card, and then sharing it with their friends and family. If they're just buying your product but not sharing it with their friends and family, it's very difficult to grow the business, as some people might experience, and it just becomes like I would say like a negative flywheel. So you really want, when one person buys your product, for them to be able to share it with their friends and family, and that way it can grow exponentially. Otherwise, you're kind of going to be spinning your wheels backwards. And so that's one question I would ask in order to determine if you have product market fit. If not, I'll go back to the drawing board, do a lot more research by talking to customers, asking them a lot of questions, getting on the phone with them, sending out emails and surveys and things like that. From there, you can kind of build your core marketing message from what they say. I mean, the best copy and ads that I've written come straight from the customer's mouths, like straight from testimonials, straight from the research that the brand has conducted and things like that. And so it's extremely, extremely important to know your audience extremely well and to know what their problems are and how your solution, how you're like the best solution for them. And so that's basically what this quote kind of comes from, which is everything you need to know about marketing comes from your customer. If you ever have a question about marketing, like how do I get more customers? Like just go back to your customer. They'll be able to tell you almost everything. And if not, then you can deduce from what they're saying to be able to find those solutions. And so find out where they're hanging out, find out kind of where they congregate, where they spend their time, what websites they go to, what blogs they frequent, where they shop, what other competitors they also shop with, and things like that, because that will allow you to be able to understand them at a much deeper level. Whoever understands their customer the most and at the deepest level will be able to create the best marketing. And that's just through research. And so the next pillar is the website and product page. So how do you know if you have a good one? I mean, pretty plain and simply, it's if it converts. Like it's like at the end of the day, that's like the most important metric to know whether you have a good or bad website. Like a lot of people will argue about, is it like sexy enough? Is it beautiful enough? Is it have good imagery? Like, and does it have enough product reviews? Does it like, is it carousel or is it like vertical or is there enough animation? Like it can get really wild, but at the end of the day, like what's the conversion rate on your website? And that will determine whether you have a good one or not. On average, most e-commerce websites that are able to scale have about a 2 to 3% conversion rate. If yours is below that, this is one of the first things that I would work on after doing that customer research. And a lot of people do ask like, okay, how do I improve my product page if it's less than like a 2% conversion rate? Well, go back to your customers, find out exactly like what they think about your website. So if I would download things like Lucky Orange to be able to have heat maps and look at where your customers are clicking, pointing at, reading, and actually talking to a lot of people that actually go on your website and see like, do they understand what your product is, what it does, how it helps them, what problem it solves, and how your product is better than any other solution on the market. And so that's why I was always saying that research is ever more important, because it will give you the answers that you're looking for in order to help optimize your social media, your landing page, like your whole entire business, your products, like everything. And so when in doubt, just ask your customers and they'll tell you. And so you always want to aim for about a 3% conversion rate. If you do, awesome, we can kind of move on from here. But if not, kind of follow the steps that I just outlined prior. And here are some like stats to kind of help you understand like why it's so important to create a high converting website. One of the most important things is actually website speed. I think a lot of people overlook this, but I did want to touch on it for just a little bit, because here's like 4 facts that are pretty staggering to to kind of drill in the point of like why it's so important to have a really fast website. Like there's a reason why Amazon loads so freaking fast and why you don't have to wait like almost anything at all to be able to order something from there. Um, and so the page speed really should be under 2 seconds. If it's under 3, I think that's fine and acceptable, but really aim for under 2, because like 40% of your customers expect web pages to load in under 2 seconds or less. And 57% of those visitors will leave your website if load times are longer than 3 seconds. So more than half of your money that's spent driving your traffic there, if you have a website speed that loads longer than 3 seconds, like that's just wasted right there just because of website speed. Like they're not even gonna look at your picture, not gonna look at your product, any copywriting that you did on your website, like absolutely nothing if it doesn't load fast enough. And so that's kind of the first core pillar. If you do double your website speed or lower it by 50 to 100%, like you will see a lot more conversions. And so that's why I wanted to kind of talk about this. And so of that 57% who leave, like 80% will literally never return to your website. That's kind of uh, very concerning because this is like your first impression. And so really want to make it a good one. And so of those 80% of never returners, 44% will tell their friends about the bad experience. Uh, it's and that's really true because I always tell people about like terrible websites. I'm like, don't go here, like it won't load. Uh, like you're just not gonna have a good time. And so negative reviews will always spread faster than positive ones. And so be very cautious of that and try to do everything you can to lower that website speed. I think looking up on Google or YouTube in about like 1 or 2 videos, you're going to be able to find exactly how you can do this pretty simply. It doesn't really take crazy coding unless you have like a custom coded website. So just things like compressing your image and having less in your page and using like JPEG instead of like PNG, like those types of things are going to be able to help you reduce your website speed. So that's kind of like the unsexy, thing to talk about, but very important in order to make sure that your dollars are going further. And so some other points about creating like a high converting website. I'll run through these points pretty quickly. Just first and foremost, design for mobile. 80% of mobile is, or 80% of traffic is mobile. So don't put all your time and effort and spend like tens of thousands of dollars designing your website beautifully and just making it impeccable, but for desktop, and then like neglect the mobile because most people will just go on mobile. So please optimize for mobile first and then go to desktop. Make sure your website's clear and easy to understand. Make sure you have a clear call to action and an add to cart button that's above the fold. I'll show you what that means in a second. It's basically when they land on the website, like make sure they can see the add to cart button without even scrolling at all. So it should be above that fold of before they start scrolling. You want to highlight the features, but focus on the benefits of the product in each feature. So if you mention a feature, make sure you mention why this feature is important and how it can benefit them instead of just saying like it's made out of like 100% like cashmere or whatever it is. Like what's the benefit that they can get from this thing? Social proof is extremely important. Reviews, a lot of them. Highlight the best reviews alone, separate from like the rest of the review section. Like if you're using Looks or some sort of review software, some features, and then how many happy customers you have. Like if you have like 10,000 customers, make sure you say that. It's just you want to build as much credibility and proof and make it seem like everyone's already buying this thing and everyone already has it, because people like to kind of follow the crowd in that sense. And so we kind of want to play into that. And you really want to look like a brand. Like if you just take like an objective look on your website and try to go from it from like a lens of not knowing anything and not being associated with the brand, like does this look like a legitimate brand? And if not, like we want to fix that. It's hard to look at it when you're like kind of like inside the trench, but get some feedback from your customers, get some feedback from other people, but really try to make your website look professional and look like a brand. A lot of times people kind of neglect that and just think that their product is so good and that people are just going to know just right off the bat without needing like it to look very like good or professional or clean and cut. But you really do want to look like a brand because people only buy from websites that they trust. And so great professional product photography is a core component in that. And then video, if possible, kind of demonstrating that product. And so I'll kind of show you here like what good examples of great websites are. And so Allbirds, I'm sure everyone's familiar with them, especially in the sustainability and space and clothing and things like that. But they have a really great product page. And so their add to cart button is right here. So that's above the fold. That's what I was talking about before. A lot of people have the add to cart button like way down here. And it's like, you have to scroll down to get to it. people are really lazy, so you really want it above the fold. So this is clear, concise, you know exactly what you're buying. You're buying shoes, here's the sizes. It's like very, very easy to understand. Highlighting the key features and why it's important. And then, so emphasizing kind of the benefits here, which is it's light and breezy. So core features are here, beautiful, you know, product imagery. And the easiest way to elevate your website is just to have really, really good photos. You can transform a really bad looking website into a good one just by having good photos alone. So this here is really great. They have a video here as well, just demonstrating the product. And I would just model after some of these. And so another thing that you can see here is kind of like them talking about the features, but then also explaining why the feature is so important, right? So the benefits from it, right? So they're basically being able to support the planet by buying these shoes, and you know, a plus is that it's silky and breezy. And so you can see how they do that here. Sweeten the planet, that's another like feature plus a benefit tied into one. And so you can see that here, like a feature is like that it's a sugarcane midsole, but why is that important, right? So like, what's the benefit of using sugarcane versus like foam, right? Like synthetic foam or something like that. And so it's better for the planet, and that's the benefit behind it, and that's why people buy into this brand. So whenever you mention a specific feature, always tie it back to a specific benefit so that people understand why they're buying and why it's important. Otherwise, they will have no idea why. So you don't want your customers to kind of draw their own conclusions. You want to tell them up front so that they understand. So a castor bean insole, so plant your feet in comfort. So this is, again, like benefits as to why a castor bean insole is important. And this is what it looks like. And they have a lot of reviews here, which tons and tons of credibility. So that right there is a good example. And here's some other examples of great brands that have really great product pages. And so I would definitely model after them if you have any questions of like, how can I make my website better, my product page better, or higher converting? Just click on one of these. We'll send this deck over to everyone as well, so you can have access to it. And you can just click on the link here and be able to just look at their website, because these people have literally spent like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on their website. And so definitely model after them. Look at the copy, look at their product imagery, and just model after them. And then that's your best way forward. And cool. So we'll go to the next page, which is after you've created, after you've proven product market fit, and after you've kind of updated your website and made it high converting, and it's converting at a 2 to 3%. Now we're going to run ads to it, right? No, please don't. Please don't yet. A lot of people get this wrong. They'll like spend thousands on like upgrading their website, which you don't really have to. It's just get really good pictures and you'll basically be 80% there. 80-20 principle, please apply that there, so you don't waste too much time. So the thing that you want to do is test out if your theory works on organic marketing first. So like, I would never really recommend paid ads unless you absolutely have to, or unless you've already proven the concept. So to prove the concept as cheaply and efficiently as possible, use organic marketing. This way you don't have to waste so much time and money and kind of go back to the drawing board. And so one of the best ways to kind of use organic marketing is influencer marketing. It's cost effective, low risk, high potential for reach and sales, and builds a ton of relationship and community. And so this is one way that you can do it very quickly. And more than likely, if you are targeting an influencer that's in your specific target audience or demographic, and they post about it, they love it, they made a really good value proposition for your brand, and there's no sales after, and you probably tried about 10 to 20 influencers and there's no sales, there's probably something wrong with the product or the actual website. And so if you gift out your product to 10 to 20 influencers, it's not going to cost as much as trying to run like $3,000 to $5,000 in paid ads. The cost of the product is much less than trying to use advertising. And so definitely take advantage of this like modality, and really run with it and give it enough, I would say like runway. Like a lot of people would say influencer marketing doesn't work, and I ask them like how many influencers they actually reach out to, and they're like 10. And I'm like, well, how many got back to you? And they're like, I don't know, like 1 or 2. And then out of those, like they just ghosted them. So like, oh, influencer marketing doesn't work. That's not really the case. Like there's multiple 7, 8, and maybe 9-figure brands using influencer marketing every single day to drive like multi 7 figures, 8 figures in sales, definitely works. You just have to make sure that you're finding the right influencers and then making sure that your product and website are optimized and then fit for sales. And so this is one way that I would test to see if those two first core pillars are actually like you've actually done them well and it's working properly. Influencer marketing also isn't just an organic strategy in terms of, and it's not just like a startup strategy. It's like a strategy that should be evergreen and ever growing as you scale your brand. It works really, really well in conjunction with paid ads. So a lot of brands just literally have a whole entire department dedicated to influencer marketing. It's growing really, really, really fast, especially YouTube influencers. And so, I mean, this is one of the best ways to kind of grow a brand without spending like a ton of money up front. And I'll kind of dive deeper into how to actually reach out with influencers and how to find the right ones and seeding and gifting and how to make sure that the campaign's successful. If you guys want kind of at the end, I can dive into it a little bit deeper just based on your questions. And so after you've kind of proven the core concept of influencer marketing, you've gotten sales from that, right? Then you can kind of look at paid advertising. And that's because of a couple of reasons. If you're able to prove influencer marketing and that it actually works, like you have so many different things you can do because one, that means people really, really love your product. Other people are able to sell it. And then the influencer itself, you can collaborate with them on a longer term basis if it is successful. With that, you can also see what post the influencer did exactly to be able to drive sales for you. From that, you can take that and either recreate the post or use that exact post itself and use it in your paid advertising campaigns. Obviously, make sure you get the permission of the influencer first before doing that. Usually it's kind of like inside of the agreement. But those are the reasons why you want to do influencer marketing to kind of like transition your way into paid advertising, because there's so many different things that you kind of prove before you start running into paid advertising to minimize the extra ad spend that you would be wasting and to mitigate like any potential risk, right? Because if you don't really know what your core message is, if your website works or converts well, or if people are willing to buy the product on a bigger scale, then paid advertising is a really, really big risk because there's so many different variables. Like you don't know what copy works, what headline, what messaging, what image or video or type of content. Like if it is UGC, like user generated content, if it's a lifestyle photo, if it's a product focused photo, like you don't know. And so you're gonna have to spend a lot of money up front to figure out what works versus if you just went to the influencer, prove the concept there by just giving them a free product in exchange for a post and 2 stories. You can see exactly what type of content works well and then just throw it into paid advertising. Again, the core principle of paid advertising is that it's only an amplification mechanism. It doesn't actually prove anything for you. And so if your product doesn't work, if your website doesn't work, paid ads are only going to amplify that. But if your organic efforts work, it will amplify that kind of like 2, 3, 4, 10-fold. And so we'll dive into the anatomy of high performing Facebook ads. We've run quite a bit and generated like multiple 8 figures from paid advertising alone. So I could kind of walk through a lot of the things that I've seen that work really, really well and kind of give you guys that core principle and shortcut to like knowing what types of contents really work best in terms of Facebook. So number one, the most important concept or the most important part of the Facebook ad is going to be the creative. It's not going to be the headline or the body text. It's going to be the image or the video that you use to advertise. This is the first thing that people are going to see when they look at your ad. The hierarchy goes when people are scrolling through Facebook, the first thing you look at is the image or the video, and then they look at the headline, and then they look at the body text. That's the exact order. The next time you're scrolling on Facebook and you're conscious of this, you're going to notice like, oh yeah, I do look at the image, then I look at the headline, then I look at what's said in the body copy. And so you want to follow that order in terms of what you're optimizing for in terms of creating your ad. And so creative is the most important thing, then headline, then body text. You want to make sure this is definitely attention grabbing, but then product focused. A lot of people take photos that are like so zoomed out and they don't like, they take a picture of like the whole entire person wearing clothes and holding a product while skateboarding. And it's like, we have no idea what the product is. It's like, is it the skateboard? Is it like the clothes? Is it the shirt, the pants, the shoes? Or is it the thing that they're holding in their hand or the hat that they're wearing? they have no idea. So like make sure that it's product focused. Headline, make sure it's bold, attention grabbing claim or benefit of your product. Body text, make sure it explains the details about why your potential customers need your product and why you're different. And so those are kind of the overarching principles of like the anatomy of a high performing Facebook ad. And now we'll kind of like uh, dive into specific examples of these Facebook ads to kind of like make these principles a little more concrete. And I'm like ripping through this thing. Gotta drink some water. Um, hopefully you guys are finding some value into this. And so let's see. This is the hoodie. Okay, cool. So hoodie is right now an 8 to 9 figure brand. I believe they just broke 9 figures. Really, really cool company. It kind of resembles the Snuggie, but they kind of took over the whole entire Australian market. And I wanted to show you guys a couple of ads from there to kind of show you the principles I was talking about before. So for example, like you need to have a really, really good creative, really great headline, really great body text in that specific order. I'll show you some outlines of like what that looks like. So diving into here. So here's like one of the ads that's doing really well. This is from Facebook Ads Library. If you guys don't know what this is, I highly recommend checking this out. If you're looking to paid advertising, I would use this tool to research your competitors and research other brands that target your same audience and look at their ads that they're running because they're putting actual dollars behind these specific creative assets and headlines and body text. And so if you guys don't know how to do that, you would just go on Facebook and type in like a specific competitor or brand or whatever it is. And let's see if we can do that now. So let's say like the hoodie. This is one of the best tools that you can use to find out like, to really shortcut the learning curve of running paid ads because you'll know exactly what's working and what they're spending their money on. So this is like the best thing ever. So that right there, oh, I just skipped through it, but you want to go to their specific Facebook page, scroll down a little bit, past the about section, past the videos, past the shops, go to page transparency, click see all, and then scroll down and ads from this page and click go to the ad library. From that, you're going to be able to pop up on this page and you can see every single ad that they're currently running right now and what they're spending their money on. So if you're stuck on what to post, what to say, some value propositions, what like copywriting, all those sort of things, like videos, images, inspiration, like this is, kind of like the gold mine. This is like the best thing ever, like since sliced bread. It's kind of crazy that this is even like legal. Like I just feel illegal using this. But I literally sit here and scroll for like hours sometimes and just look at like massive brands that are running ads. I'm like, this is genius. And so this is a fun exercise to do. Obviously, when you look at competitors, don't copy them, just model. The best thing that I like to do is actually look at other brands that target your same audience. That way, they're not promoting the same product, but they have the same messaging, right? And the same kind of like look and feel, and like the messaging is kind of like specific towards that audience. You can see how you can kind of take that and apply it to your own specific product as well. So that's kind of like a tip to be able to create really, really great ads. So this here is a couple of ads. Most of like the big 7, 8-figure brands and even 9-figure brands, the majority of the ads are going to be video because it's the best form of ads is like demonstrating the product. And so the best way to demonstrate what your product does, how it helps, is through video. And so like this is kind of like an example of that. Unboxing is kind of like a really, really great way to do it. I don't know if it's going to play, but you can kind of see some of these ads that are working really well. And kind of like an extra tip in navigating the Facebook ads library is to scroll down as far as you can and see the oldest ads that they've been running. The longer that they've been running the ad, the more money that they spent on it. And so these are the ones that are truly proven. Otherwise, if you're using like just these ones that kind of came out like yesterday, they don't know if it's, we don't know, and they don't know if it's proven yet. And so you kind of want to scroll as far as you can. And since they've been running this since April, you know that they spent so much money behind this. These ads have easily gotten like thousands, if not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars spent behind them. And so I would definitely model after these ones. So here's their headline, like hurry, limited stock available. That's a great headline if people already know about the brand. And this is kind of like a testimonial ad. Like it's literally as simple as that, but this one's converting exceptionally well because they're still running it after what, like 3 months. And so this is kind of like an unboxing one. This one's another person using it. Super trendy, like super simple. Like it's not high budget. A lot of people think that you gotta like spend thousands of dollars on a video marketing agency to create these types of ads, but literally this looks like it was filmed on an iPhone, and they've put thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars behind this specific ad. Another little trick to get kind of like UGC content, which is by the way, like the best form, one of the top performing ad types that there is. I would highly recommend using Billow if you're kind of on a budget and need someone to kind of create these types of user-generated content videos for you. The best by far is by asking your customers to create one, but if you don't have that many customers, I would highly recommend using Billow here. They actually have influencers, or not influencers, but just like random people that receive your product and then give kind of like an honest review of the product, and they kind of make it in this style. So that's kind of like a quick tip on that. So this is kind of like some of the ads that I've seen that worked really, really well. This is Wholesome Culture. So this is more of a ethical, sustainable brand. And so here's some of their creatives and copy. Like really simple lifestyle product imagery works best for this type of brand. And like literally it's like one-liner sometimes. And so this one's not as old, but it's still been running for about a week. So I know that they didn't turn it off that quickly, so it's still working really well for them. And so you can kind of see their copy here. I won't dive too deep into it because I have some more in-depth examples later on, but I just wanted to show you guys the just the Facebook ads library. So going back to the presentation here. So Wholesome Culture is the one that we just saw. So a really, really easy way to kind of like create some of these ads, like some core ads that are almost guaranteed to work every single time, is like a testimonial ad. So I have like three or four types of ads that you guys can model after here, as well as like you guys can look on your own and inside the Facebook ads library. So this one, I mean, you saw Wholesome Culture, plus you saw Udi do it as well. They literally just have like a 5-star here, and then just a literally like copy and paste testimonial from a buyer or a customer, and just a really good product lifestyle photo, or just like a selfie or something like that, like just them wearing or using the product. That's it. Like this ad, I know, has driven thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of revenue. And this basic structure works almost every single time, just because it's like people read reviews all the time. Like it's funny because people will read reviews more than they'll actually read like the product description and like the features and differentiators and all that stuff. They just, like a lot of times, like when I choose on Amazon, I don't read the 5-page like essay that they write. I just click on reviews and just read the reviews. And that's exactly how I buy, and that's how a lot of people are buying as well. So if you kind of shorten the process and give them exactly what they want just on the ad itself, that'll shorten your sales cycle. And people believe that way more than what we're saying on the page itself. And so that's one type of ad. Another type of ad is I call a value stack ad. So the first one's a testimonial ad. Next one's a value stack ad. So it's basically a one-liner that hooks your audience. So say something that's relatable that hooks your audience. Usually it's like a kind of like a value statement or a brand statement, something that you believe in. And then usually there's like 4 or 5 bullet points of, I would say, kind of like the benefits or values of your specific brand. And so, for example, for Wholesome Culture, 10% of profits go to animal rescue and environmental organizations. It's ethically made, shipped in biodegradable packaging, printed in water-based ink. And so those are their values and their value stack. And so this works really well to be able to get short to the point. People understand exactly what you do, why you do it, and how it can benefit them or the world. And using this one line out there, it's a really good hook into the whole entire thing. And so it's like, no matter how old you are, where you live, or what you do, the one thing that we all have in common is our home on planet Earth. That's a value statement that they believe in. Usually it comes from their mission statement. Usually it comes from, their core values. And so when they put that there, and it should resonate with your target audience, that's how you can create kind of like a hook, and then it goes into the value stack there. Here's another brand called Tent Tree. This one's, I think it's a sustainable brand as well. And so this one is just a bold benefit one-liner. A lot of times for like fashion, it's just really simple. It doesn't have to be crazy long form copy. A lot of times like a simple one-liner bold statement works really, really well. So for example, this one is made from soft, eco-friendly materials. The Pacific Jogger is so comfy, you'll never want to take it off. So their bold benefit is like, it's so comfy, you'll never want to take it off. So find kind of like your one-liner. A lot of times you can actually find this from your reviews and just pull that one liner and put it in here and just make sure you have a really good eye-catching product photo to be able to capture their attention. And then here's one of our clients, Bitty Bra. We kind of scaled them from 11,000 to 50,000 in about 2 months. And we kind of combined a couple of things. And so we combined social proof with a benefit stack. And so here's like the hook, which is moms are going crazy for these keep hats. Bitty Bras cracked the code for comfortable, toddler-proof hats. And then we went in and value stacked right here. So like waterproof, floats in water, easily packageable, won't lose its shape. Voted number one by baby, voted number one baby toddler hat by moms, free fast shipping, and then get yours today. So that's an example of us using this type of format, combining two different types of ads that we saw previously. So these are, I mean, this is, if you start off with these core ads, like you're pretty much going to be successful as long as you have the core foundations that we talked about set. So then the question becomes like, how do you know if you're ready for Facebook ads? So we kind of talked about it before with making sure you have the proper foundations in place. Besides that, I wanted to give a little bit more actionable and specific kind of guidelines or rules of thumb before running paid ads. So if you're generating sales over $5,000, a month, preferably over 10,000 a month organically, then you're kind of ready for it, as long as you have these other things in check. So that's number one, right? Then your conversion rate is about 2 to 3% on your website. You have amazing product photography and videos. And you need lots and lots and lots of content to be able to test. You need to have a collection of like top performing posts and influencer posts that have generated sales already. That way you don't waste money trying to like test a bunch of ads and kind of guess and hope and pray that it works. Because if you have those posts already that have driven sales, literally just throwing them up on ads will be able to amplify your results. And then you need to have at least like 3,000 to 5,000 set aside to be able to test and be okay if you break even or lose money on the ads. Most people that I've talked to have spent about that much, 3 to 7, sometimes $10,000 before being able to generate a return on their ads, just because it takes time, it takes testing, it takes experimentation to be able to like find the ones that work for you. It's different for every single brand. Like every single client that we've run ads for, it's all different. Like there's no one same strategy that we use. There's no one same exact ad that we use. There's no way. So every brand's different. And you kind of have to test in order to find those best performing ones and then be able to run from it. I would view it, whenever I tell clients this, I always view it as an investment in data more than anything else. Like you're not technically losing the money, it's an investment because you find out what's working, what's not working, what people are clicking on, what people are engaging with, what people are buying from, adding to cart with. And so from that, every single dollar you spend on the platform, it's actually feedback. It's not failure. There's no such thing as failure. It's only feedback to be able to allow you to make better decisions moving forward. It's only failure if you don't use what you learned and get better from it. So that's the only thing that I would say is a failure. Other than that, if you're like going through the process, you're learning, you might not be making sales, but you've learned what people click on, what people don't, what people like, what they don't, and you take it, you test and iterate and build upon what you've learned. That's how you can be successful at this thing and just keep going. And so that's why it's an investment in data and in feedback more than anything else. But of course, you can mitigate a lot of this by just proving the concept beforehand with organic marketing. So I know a lot of people kind of want to like get a jump start in terms of starting Facebook ads. If you want to start, I would start small. And so here's some like a quick start guide for launching Facebook ads. So I'll run through about like 5 to 7 bullet points, and this will be able to allow you guys to just get a good start with Facebook ads, test, see what works, and kind of iterate from there. So you want to start with your highest performing organic content and posts from your influencers that got the most sales, or just from your own social feeds. Always optimize for purchases. I know, I think a person had a question of like, should we optimize the purchases or add to carts or link clicks in the beginning? You always want to optimize for purchases because Facebook will give you people that are most likely to purchase. If you ask for link clicks, Facebook will optimize for people that are more likely to click on the link, but not necessarily more likely to purchase because they want to get you the cheapest result or the cheapest cost for the result that you're looking for. And so they'll just feed you a bunch of bad traffic if you tell them, hey, I want link clicks, and they'll just like, literally give you a bunch of traffic at a really low cost because they're just trying to lower that cost for you, but it's just going to be terrible traffic. So always optimize your purchases. And yes, it's going to be more expensive, but you're getting more qualified leads because of that. And so then you want to reset up a retargeting ad for abandoned carts with a discount code. Something as simple as like, hey, you forgot something in your cart. Don't worry, we got you. Here's a 10% discount code that you can use on your next purchase. This code expires in like 24 hours. Something like that. Very short and simple. That works really well for abandoned carts. So that's one way that you can do it. The next thing I would do is start by targeting 5 to 10 interests each at $5 to $10 a day and run it for at least 3 days before turning it on or off. That's because you kind of need that learning period to find out exactly if this is working or not. And you want to do one interest per ad set only to be able to find out what interest works best for you in the beginning. A lot of people will say like use consolidated ad account structures, but in the beginning you kind of want to split out and trying to see what interests work best before consolidating everything. After that, you want to see what interests and ads are performing the best and turn off the ones that aren't working well. Oh, I just said that, and I'm really good at this. Then afterwards, some KPIs to watch for are you want to make sure you're getting above a 1% click-through rate, which is CTR. You want to get less than a 1% or 1.5 cost per click and lower than a $20 cost per or CPM. And so, and an add to cart that's less than 1/3 of your average order value. Those are some of the rough outlines. If you don't really know what those are, you can kind of look it up on Google after. And then if you're running ads, you're going to be able to see a lot of those metrics. But I won't dive into it too much, but those are the general KPIs that you want to look out for. To scale, the easiest and simplest way is, let's say you're profitable with launching some of your ads already. The easiest way to scale is just by increasing the budget by 20% about every 2 to 3 days. There is other things like horizontal scaling and scaling to like different countries and things like that, but I really don't think that you need that just quite yet. And if you are at that point, you probably want to get an agency to kind of like take that over for you. But this is a really good quick start guide in order to get you guys started. And yeah, that's it. I think I was pretty good at time.
Yeah, that was really good. Thank you so much.
Okay,
I really appreciate
awesome.
it. Let's open up the questions. If there are some, I know Umar, you had a couple that you sent out. I don't know if you got them answered, but if you had any questions, feel free to ask Joseph now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, Umar.
Hi, how's it going? Joseph, thank you so much for that thorough introduction and everything. It's always encouraging to hear somebody having done it from scratch. So it makes us feel like we have a chance to get there one day as well.
Yeah, of course.
The first thing I'm going to say is I think a lot of the questions that I was going to ask you were going to be about paid advertising, but the one thing that you laid out is on your scale of pillars, and unless we don't have our website that's converting between 2 to 3%, then going towards a paid advertising model, pushing money or trying to do a bunch of tests to see what works isn't really worth it. So just to kind of talk in specifics, I'll put our website here and maybe I can get a couple of like some quick feedback.
Yeah, for sure.
In front of you while we talk about it. There you go. So, so our website, while you were talking, I did check. Our website is loading within 2 seconds or less, or according to the speed checker I did use. But as of right now, we convert between 0.5 to like 1% on a good month. So we're nowhere near that 2% to 2 to 3% level that we are. There's a couple of things that we did do. I think last major change that we did, we actually shared that with Wes and Noah on our collections page where we try to make our images bigger and everything. But as of yet, we haven't seen a big difference occur. in our conversion rate thus far. So on our own end, we did have a couple of ideas of what to do regarding the product page and everything, but we think our website's in a way better position than it was maybe 6-7 months ago. But we haven't really seen an uptick in our conversion rate. Although I think we do, yeah, we are seeing a bit more sessions, like about, but we don't have that many sessions. We have about 1,500, 2,000 sessions that come in on a monthly basis. What is the good news so far? You mentioned something at the beginning where like you have to make sure that you have a product market fit. At least through a different channel, which is a physical channel, we have been getting a lot of sales. So whereas once upon a time we weren't sure that our product is right, we at least had that very strong validation from our a couple of physical channels that we have the right product. So it's about getting our ducks in a row online, so we start getting more sales over there as well.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a look at your website now. And you said you have a physical storefront, right?
So we display in a couple of different markets here in New York City, where we get a stall and we sell at the stall.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Like a kiosk type of thing. And okay.
Yeah. It's at a couple of few markets over here, and we have very good sales over there, and we're growing quite fast because of that channel.
Okay, cool. So right here, let's see. I'm gonna share my screen real quick and kind of walk you through the thought process.
Yep.
Right here, when you land on the website, relaxed retro. Is that kind of is that a specific type of line that you have, or
The one
kind
that
of
we're
like
displaying is on the colorways that we were showing. Yeah.
okay, cool. Relaxed and retro tees. Okay. Tees, hoodies. One thing I would put here for sure is what makes you guys different.
On the banner itself.
Yeah, like for sure, within like 2 seconds, someone should know like what you do and how it's different, like exactly. And if you can infuse your values in there, that would be really good. Like you just have to find out exactly what you guys are doing differently, and then usually it's going to come from the customers itself. So, for example, like why are people? You said your in-person channel is like the best. Like, what are
Yes.
people saying about the clothes exactly, and like why are people buying essentially?
So off the top, there's quite a bit going on with our brand. We have a very big give back model where we give half our profits back to our artisans. So there's a very big social impact component to what we do, and that comes later down when you scroll down on our homepage. But from the feedback that we get from our customers, there's two things that come up over and over again. First of all, our fabrics are very, very comfortable. So people always get surprised by the quality of the fabrics they use. And then secondly, they really enjoy our hand embroidered detailing. So every piece that we do always has something that's done by hand, which is kind of shown in that image that you were seeing right now. Like that's actually a piece of hand embroidery on like the side of
Gotcha.
a t-shirt. So people do quite enjoy those two things.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, that would be so. What's like just going on the 80-20 principle, right? 80% of your sales are going to come from 20% of your products. What is that 20% of products that you're selling most of that yields most of your sales?
Yeah. So if you come to if you go to clothing, you go to hoodies. So that first hoodie that you see,
Or this one?
yeah, that one's a big hit. In person, what we've done is we start offering customizations. So we will take down people, we will show people a bunch of different fabrics that we have available and we'll let them customize it. But that is one of our highest sellers. And then secondly, if you go back on our collections page, if you scroll down, oh, that's fine, on the hoodies one. If you keep scrolling, it might be in the sweatshirt category. If you go up, sorry, if you go up to clothing, you go to sweatshirts. This one, this embroidered one.
This one?
Yeah. So that's quite a high seller as well. So it has like a bunch of different embroideries over there.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. What does this look like on mobile? Okay, cool. Okay, lots of improvement we can make here. The good news is that you guys have like you guys are doing well in terms of like in person. Now we just have to translate that. So it's like the product market fit's there. People are like loving the product. Like I'm assuming it's because they can actually see it, touch it. They can
Yeah.
like feel the quality, right? They can actually like feel and see the actual hand embroidery. And
Yep.
you probably have like a really good sales pitch there as well.
Yeah,
And
we're able
so,
to sell in person, so we're able to tell our story in a much more elaborate sort of way. So all those things combined really help. But people being able
okay,
to feel the product themselves in person is a pretty big deal.
okay, cool. So hand embroidered. Let me go to, I'll just start with the actual product page because
Hmm.
the website can might take a little bit of time to go through. So we'll go to hoodies and go here. Since this one's going to be your best seller. Let's just go through from top to bottom. I'm going to go on the mobile view here just so you can see it. This
Yep.
is what most people are going to see when they go to your website.
Yep.
First impression right here.
Yep.
So right off the bat, you're definitely like, if they don't scroll, they have almost no idea like what it is other than like the picture, but they can't see the name of it or add to cart or anything like that or the price. More than likely, people are going to bounce right off of this because they don't see the information they're looking for. And let's see, I scroll 1, 2, 3. I scroll 3 times and then I can see add to cart. There's sizing here, Ice Patriot. Okay, that's cool. So you can see right here, I mean, the menu thing, I would definitely take that out.
That is actually custom coded into, not custom coded. That's just the Shopify theme that we have.
Oh, the theme. Okay.
And that was that feature of having it at the bottom was something that Shopify offered in mobile first optimized themes.
Mm,
So
okay,
people,
cool.
so you know how like a lot of them have it at the top left.
Yeah, top left.
They said that this is a lot easier to have the button at the bottom over here because it's a lot easier for people to press it over here to pop up the menu. So
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's
we just
definitely going to decrease conversions. I'll tell you that.
really,
Right off the bat. If you look at like 7, 8-figure brands, 9-figure brands, they do not have this like
okay.
down here
So
for sure.
Shopify was pushing this very hard, being like, okay, this is the next step in mobile.
I have no idea why they're doing that because
Okay.
for example, the main purpose of your product page is to do one thing and one thing only. What is that?
Convert.
Yeah. So to get them to convert by clicking menu, is that going to get them closer to converting or further away?
Nope, it's gonna confuse them.
Yep, 100%. Like let's say they came over from an ad, they want to go to this specific hoodie, not click around and like go to other places. Like if they want to visit a thing, they want to buy the thing, and we need to reduce friction as much as possible. If anything, this should be an add to cart button, which would really help boost your add to cart additions.
Got it.
So that's one thing to note. You're definitely going to see a lift there. When you do that, COVID update, our current delivery time is 3 weeks. I definitely wouldn't put that up there. That might deter people away. You kind of want to sell them on it, and then like they're sold, and then like maybe in the description where it's like, hey, due to like extremely popular demand, like we're our delivery times are a lot slower, so please forgive us.
We can do that on the
And
conversion page, like right when they're adding shipping details, or
yeah, like there or like down here, right? Oh, yeah. So that's what you can do. Up here, you want to do something like free shipping over orders of $100 or some sort of like thing that kind of helps them make the sale. This would actually deter them away from the sale.
understood. Okay.
We're getting pretty, is this like helpful? I can get like pretty granular and
Well, we love granular, and plus I'm
okay,
actually
cool.
19 back home, so I
Okay,
see
cool.
this recording, so I'm gonna pester Noah and
Yeah,
Wes to send me the recording. This is very, very helpful. Thank you so much.
cool. You got it. So like I would change that to like free shipping over X amount of dollars. That's going to help boost your average order value. Do
That's
you offer
actually what
free
it was
shipping?
before we started getting
Okay.
delays in our production. So, but yeah,
Gotcha. Yep. So I would keep that back up there and move it down towards like
got it.
yeah, the
Somewhere down there,
description.
like when on the next page or something.
Yep.
So
This
Joseph,
right.
just a quick thing, could it also be for the time that gets pushed down. To frame it is maybe a little bit more of a benefit versus a deterrent. Like there's a reason why the production takes longer. It's because it's sustainable.
Right, that too. You can definitely sell the hell out of like why it's so long, you know. Um, Popular demand, we sold out multiple times. We're supporting like, you know, I don't know,
Yeah,
like US factory workers instead of like outsourcing it to China. Like
They
there's a
make,
million different things.
they make to order, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yep, customize.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a really easy way to do it. Move this, and that would be moved up probably. This thing is, I'm wondering, I think you can keep this here. It does take up a lot of space,
I think
unfortunately.
this is again one of those issues with like the Shopify theme that you end up buying a lot of these.
yeah, they
Like
buffer.
how many pixels it takes kind of predetermined, but
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's okay. This shouldn't be a big problem. It's just a lot better if you can do like, let's see, and just see like, here's like an example of what it looks like on this, right? So like, it's like pretty short. And you can like see the name of the thing. It's like, you can see that.
name the ratings and yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like they can see exactly what they're looking for and like most of the information they're looking for like right then and there, which makes it so much easier for people. People are really lazy, like honestly, like people don't want to have to find the add to cart button.
Yeah.
People don't want to have to choose between multiple things or like read through a bunch of things. So make it as easy as possible. I don't know men or women. What is this thing here? Oh,
So all of our clothing is unisex.
okay, cool.
All of our clothing is unisex. Our shoes have men and women sizing.
Okay, so what are these two buttons here?
I'm trying to see. I haven't seen it on my mobile in a while.
Oh no, you're good.
I'm not sure actually because in clothing we shouldn't have that.
Okay, cool. I would remove that because it just takes up a lot of space for no reason. Like it takes up
Yep.
like just a ton of real estate.
It ends up going to our shoes page for some reason. So that's
Yeah. So if people click that, they're just gonna be like, what the? So you can see here, it literally takes up as much space as the logo.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't show up on our desktop as much.
yeah. And that's why I was saying in the beginning, like always optimize for mobile first.
Yep.
Because that's where most of the traffic will be. I think this is really interesting down here. I've seen some people do that. Wonder if you can make it just like one line instead of like, you know, 2 or 3, because they have to scroll quite a bit to get to the add to cart.
Or we can get to the add to cart first and then they can select between colors.
I would keep it above. That's still good. It's just a lot of things to scroll by. I think you can change it so that they can like scroll the images like right here instead of like stacking everything. It just takes up a lot of real estate and prevents them from,
like,
because like
if you have like a cursor on the side or like an arrow that you press the
yeah,
cursor on the side.
yep. Because for example, if I'm on mobile, like I have to scroll all the way down here and click my size and then my thing, and I can't even see the thing. And if I change the let's say like the style, I can't even see it change. So it's like
right.
I have to scroll back up, then look at it, then look at this, scroll back up. I'm lazy, and then I'm just gonna jump right off.
Yeah.
But if they could like click it and see exactly what it is, like right then and there, like ooh, they can just like bask in its glory. This is a beautiful product. Like,
thank you.
And I have a quick question for you, Joseph. You're looking at it on a mobile portrait style. Is this how most people look at it, or do they look at, like, for example, on a tablet that's also considered mobile? Would they look at it portrait style instead of?
Most of it's going to be like a phone traffic and not tablet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I can tell you from our stats as well, like we have very few people who check it out on our tablet. Like the vast majority of it's between, I think it's a close to a 50-50 split between desktop and mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's going to be mostly here. And so that's what it's going to look like. So you can kind of see it there. The price is here. That's good. Afterpay. Enjoy free shipping. That's pretty good. You could probably keep that there. Delano. Add to cart. This is good. It'd be interesting to see what people kind of do to like navigate this, but I think that's fine. You might want to make some of this bigger just so they can read it. And it's the same thing here, like it's really hard to read in terms of like the product description. Like look at this and then look at this.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like I think this is like 3 or 4 points smaller in terms of font.
got it.
You want to choose a font that's like really, really, people are like really used to,
Got it.
and that'll help quite a bit.
This is sizing. So even the font, I think we use Roboto Slab Black for
Okay, cool.
all of our paragraphs, and that's one of the most common ones online. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, I would just make that bigger just to help that out. And then you can turn, honestly, like here's like what they did, like super, super simple. You can do that same thing or just keep it and just make it bigger. So there's just some ideas. The fit, that's good.
So before even working on the homepage, you would attack the product page first.
Yeah, yeah, because that's where most, if let's say you're driving traffic, right? Like you're probably going to drive most of the traffic towards this if it is your best seller.
Got it.
That's what I would highly recommend.
Okay.
Unless it's like a big, like kind of like a brand where people like to shop a collections page. But if this is most of your sales, I would drive it here.
I mean, it's quite spread out, but if you were to ask me what are 2 or 3 best sellers, those are the ones.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Product page is definitely the priority though, because that's where people are going to check out.
Okay.
Then here, luxurious handboard accents, inspire, amazing, creative. Let's see. Give you an example over here of. I think you guys can definitely accentuate that a little bit more. So let's see. All words. Like, I mean, your product's sexy. You guys got to make this sexy. Like, I think you guys can do a lot better than that. In terms of like really accentuating like what the embroidery looks like, kind of like the hand stitching and all of that. So like for example, like down here, like you can see how this shot looks like really, really nice, professional. It's not going to take that much to like get these types of shots. You know what I mean?
Could we see this on mobile? Because we were always kind of concerned with
Yep.
spacing.
Yep. So here's what it looks like.
Yeah. So actually, once that you're kind of done with your add to cart and your initial thing, you space out the rest of it with like actual product shots. I mean, that's kind of what we were trying to go for with our features and everything by trying to do that. But
yep, exactly. So you just want to make it like pretty easy to read, aesthetic. Like these are really big fonts.
yeah,
It's a little bit hard to read here. It's kind of like a big block of text.
got it.
Like this almost says as much as what you set up here, but you
Yeah.
can see how it like feels really dense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's weird. I can't really articulate that well, but like
It's a
it just
feeling that you've gotten within the first 3 seconds, being like, okay, this is gonna be tough to read, or this is not gonna be tough to read.
yeah, like this one is like 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 it's just
No.
nice.
No.
So you want to make that same effect here. And I think you can do that really well by just extending, just I would literally model this page
Got it.
like extend it so that it looks really professional, clean. I mean, there's a crease in there. You probably want to take that out or iron it. Like just make it look sexy. I think you guys know how to do that.
Okay.
This one you could probably sexify it up too.
So more sex in general, yes.
Yes, sex sells. I mean, that's what this product is, right? Like it's like it just looks really clean. Like it's yeah, man. Like at the end of the day, like it's sexy. That's what it is. So even this, like that's not totally like sexy, is like sexy now, like with just a few good shots. So that's why I was saying like product photography is everything. Like I bet you if you took another photo of this, like just in a different background without the crease, like close-up shots of like we can actually see the individual threads. Like you might have to get a really, really good lens to like be able to see the individual threads. And you can almost see like the imperfection of each thread because it is hand sewn. Like that is a sexy photo that, you know, really draws in. It's like hammering down, like this is hand embroidered. Like this, I can't really tell if it's machine or hand embroidered, but if it were like super close, like, I'm gonna try to see if I can.
Yeah, like a close-up shot with maybe a descriptor, right?
Yeah, like I can see the grains in that.
Coming back to the thing that you were talking about, the images. We can see on the Allbirds one. So Allbirds has those like 6 little gray dots underneath, which indicate that you can scroll through the images.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So they don't have like.
I mean, they actually do have quite a bit of those, but
Yeah, like
point taken, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
So like here's the
Good news
other
is,
images.
Umar, you got Joseph to say sexy about your product like 4 times. So that's the huge win.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Joseph
don't know what else
Tim
you could do.
So,
So that's pretty much the biggest thing.
Wes, how are we doing on time?
we're pretty much over, but I did want to ask and see, because I know Howie's on as well. How did you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like in my car and I don't know. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyways,
Hi,
hi
Howie.
Joseph. Thank you so much for doing this. This is
course.
super awesome and very, very helpful. I just have one question. I'm wondering if you would be willing to do like a 101, maybe follow-up office hour of some sort.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I will reach out to Noah and Wes and then maybe we can get something scheduled.
Perfect.
Yeah, but you had amazing feedback. Yeah, and thank you so much for the time. It was very, very helpful.
Thank you as well. I heard you're doing really well, so I'm excited to meet you.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is a brief introduction, but definitely looking forward to chatting more.
Awesome.
And how we meet Umar. This is, I think, your first time together on
Yeah, Omar, I am a huge fan of your brand.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I love everything that you're about. I love the colors. I love the concept. You are my favorite D.O.B brand. Sorry to the other brands, but you are.
Hey, we won't tell them.
I can say we're in the
I
top
remember
5.
Umar, when we showed you and Amar Yema, you guys were like, "Oh, that's dope."
Yeah.
So,
We dug
Yeah, Howie's one of the co-founders of Yema.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. We love your stuff as well. Again, like even before, like he said it, like even before I knew who we were, when we looked at the other brands, like you were the ones who were like, okay, that one. That was the one.
Awesome. So we're rooting for each other. This is incredible.
Yeah. There might maybe a future collab at some point. I don't want to push. I don't want to push it too far too fast. But I'm just
No, definitely looking forward to it. It would be incredible.
Cool.
And we can start small, okay? We can do like a photo shoot collab and then grow from that.
Yeah, baby.
They're
Where
giving you
are you
ideas
based?
already, Omar.
Where are you based?
California.
We're in New York, but we'll figure it out.
We'll definitely figure it out.
Oh yeah, we'll help you guys.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll figure stuff out. We like to collab. We like to bring people together. So we'll figure something out.
Perfect.
But I did want to be conscious of Joseph's time. So what I'll do is I've recorded this and I'll definitely send it out. If people do want to reach out to Joseph, we have his information and we could share that with you guys. And yeah, and if there's other topics that you guys want to cover, let us know. We're happy to. I mean, I'm hoping this was really helpful, and we're happy to continue to do these kinds of things every like 6 to 8 weeks, and hopefully as we get bigger, we'll do them more frequently.
Yeah, and there's so much. I see a round 2, round 3 with Joseph too. There's a lot more.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I touched on like nothing.
Joseph, thank you. Well, Umar and Howie, thank you for taking the time to attend.
No, of course.
Joseph, thank you so much. It was awesome.
Joseph, just very quickly, I think we tell this to Noah and Wes all the time. I think in the past 20 months, we must have spoken to at least 15, 20 different social media companies.
Oh gosh.
And after like every single time we hit to a point where like, I already know what somebody's going to say before they've already pitched it to us. And so like when I came on this, I was a bit hesitant being like, all right, am I going to learn anything new or is it going to be the same? And honest to God, and I went to business school last year and I tried to look for like different digital marketing courses.
Really?
and nobody has been able to tell us as concisely with like specifics being like this, and this for an e-commerce brand as well as you have. So if you ever get time, and this is one of the biggest pitfalls of the course I just completed, was that somebody in a very concise way is able to tell you like, this is what online businesses need, and this is what you should be doing. This is what the conversion rates you should be looking at. You need to focus on this. And if you would ever have time to, I would love to connect you with people back at my school, and I would love to organize a lecture for you because I think it'd be super valuable.
Honestly, bro, I just got goosebumps. Like, Omar, you're the freaking best, bro.
No,
I'm like, yo, that's what I love.
I've said this to Noah and Wes as well, because Noah and Wes, you know, we've been talking for a while, and like anybody who I think that is really add value to other people, I love giving that access to other people that we have. So I think it just, you know, whatever's good for the world.
I'd love to do that. Like, that's literally my dream. Like, just literally just sharing the knowledge, everything that I've learned. Like, I don't even care, like paid or not. Like, it'll all come back anyway. Like, that's how I believe most of us operate anyway. So, yeah, I'd love to do it.
This group and everyone we're associating with, like, this is what it's about.
Yep.
So, yeah, totally. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Everyone's time.
Take care.
We'll send the recording back out so everyone has it, and then we'll also probably we'll talk to Joseph about wider distribution too, so even more of the community can benefit. But appreciate all of your time. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Joseph. Looking forward to speaking with you very soon. Okay.
Yes, I'm excited. You too, Omar. I'll be reaching out as well.
Sure, guys. Bye bye.